Hello, children. We are back talking about the best Galaxy franchise, people blowing up in spaceships. Yeah. So, we're at a weird point in the franchise when they started announcing spin-offs, and everyone was like, why are they doing spin-offs? They seem unnecessary entirely. So then we got Rogue One, which we're going to talk about next, because that does not come now. And right now we're talking about Solo, a Star Wars story, which I'm surprised this movie even got made considering the production hell it went through. For one, the directors of the Lego movie were supposed to direct it, which I still think should have happened. But, you know, Disney with their brilliant ideas, you know, they were like, oh no, fuck you. We don't agree with your ideas. So they left and they brought in Ron Howard to direct it, and they had to, like, I think they had to reshoot the whole movie. I don't know. Point is, here we are, Solo, Star Wars movie. Star Wars story. So, what do you guys think of Solo?
It was a fun, action-packed movie. Let me give it to Gabe first.
I have the same reaction as Kevin.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that I was not excited for this movie when it was coming out. The trailers were not great, and I was worried. Walking out of this movie, the first time I saw it, I thought it was great. And rewatching it yesterday, I still think it's great. I think it is the most underrated Star Wars movie. People, like, for some reason, people did not like this movie when it came out. I don't know why. To me, I like this movie because it's a chill Star Wars movie. It's not trying to be Revenge of the Sith. It's not trying to be The Force Awakens. It's not trying to be this big epic story. It's just trying to be a fun, you know, action movie with Star Wars. And that's not a problem, if you guys ask me. So we're gonna go through the movie briefly, because this movie's nothing really happens in this movie. That's, you know, and I didn't really have negative notes. So the first thing I want to say is the text at the beginning. It's really weird, because I think what they wanted to do with these movies was like, oh well, it's an anthology story, so we're not gonna have a crawl. But the beginning of this movie is basically an opening crawl without the Star Wars music, and it's just really weird the way it happens. I don't know. I love the world that they build post Revenge of the Sith. Like, everything's in chaos. It's like a criminal underworld. I love it. I like how, you know, nothing is really in order after what happened. How do you guys feel about the new actor who played Han Solo?
Played a good role.
I think he did a pretty good job. I don't want to say great. I don't know why. I don't know.
I personally, I really like him. I really like him as Han Solo. I can tell right off the bat he understands the character completely, and he's like, he plays the character really good, if you ask me. I didn't really have issues with him at all. I enjoyed his presence. One issue I had with the beginning of this movie, they showed his dice about 7 times in a matter of 10 minutes, and it really got annoying. I don't know why they just kept showing the dice over and over again. Like, yes, we get it. The dice are for luck or whatever. Like, we get it. Stop showing them. It got really annoying. A big positive for this movie for me is the relationship between Kira and Han. I think it's a really big strong point of this movie. The scene where she gets taken is a really good scene. And every time their relationship, like, they have really good chemistry. Him and Emilia Clarke was also really good in the movie, and I like her character also. The scene where he gets his name is so stupid. I hate that scene. It's so corny. He's just like, oh, well, you're by yourself, so you're Han Solo. It's so corny. To me, it's so corny. Did you guys feel the same way? Think it was corny?
Come again, sorry.
The way he said it, it made it sound corny.
Yeah, it was just like the way he just says it, like, oh, no family. Oh, Solo. I was like, oh my god. That was corny. I like how they show Han working with the Empire. I think that's kind of cool. Woody Harrelson's character I really liked. He's hilarious as usual. Let's talk about the first meeting with Chucky. Oh my god. Quarantine has me down to 0 brain cells, guys. Let's talk about the first meeting between Chewie and Han. What did you guys think of that whole scene?
Fucking hilarious.
That scene, first of all, I love it how Han knows how to speak Wookiee. That's hilarious. I love it. But that's probably the best thing in this movie, the relationship between Han and Chewie. I feel like they nailed it perfectly. They did such a great job with that. It's like, we never left these two for me. Speaking of Chewie, I really like his character in this movie. He's like, I don't know, like the whole thing with his family and how he's been running, like I like that, because they never really gave Chewie anything to do other than be Han's sidekick and just, be comic relief. So I like that they, gave him something to do. Let's talk about the train, the first big action sequence with the train. What did you guys think of that?
Very poorly planned.
You said poorly planned? Yeah.
I don't think he took everything into account. At least Woody Harrelson's character.
Also,
Personally,
there were 2 suicidal characters.
No, well, one was suicidal, the other one got shot. There's a difference.
Yeah,
I guess
so
there
he
is.
chose to continue flying.
The thing that I don't like with this scene, it starts out really good. It does. I was like, oh shit, this is cool. First of all, the look of the train was awesome. I love the look of the train. But the thing that ruins it for me, the music. At first, hold on, let me turn down the audio. The music at first is really good. It's like really good Star Wars music. I'm like, alright, I'm getting into this. Then the quote-unquote first villain shows up and gets like this choir music that ruins it for me. I hated it. I did not. Did you guys like feel the same way about that, or was that just me?
I felt sort of the same way. I felt like it was a weird music choice.
Yeah, it takes you out of the whole thing. Like, it goes from this epic, cool Star Wars music to, like, this choir. And speaking of Infant's Nest, this character just comes out of nowhere. Like, don't get me wrong, she, I guess, is kind of cool, but it, just out of nowhere. That's another big thing with this movie, that one of my only issues with the movie is the fact that they don't develop any characters outside of Lando, Han, and Chewie, because we already know who these characters are, and the rest of the characters are kind of just there. Kira, I guess, is his love interest, but other than that, there's nothing really to her other than being Han's love interest, which I think is a big negative of the movie. But the train sequence, it starts off really good for me and ends, whatever. I like how Han has to take over the ship and fly. I like that. But other than that, nothing really thing. Again, I like when Han finds Kira on the ship. That's a really nice moment. Let's talk about Paul Bettany as Crimson Dawn, right? That was his name? I think Paul Bettany is awesome in this movie. I enjoyed the shit out of him in this movie. He's like, I put it in my notes. I was like, I could see him being, instead of being Vision, which I don't mind him as Vision, I could see him being like an MCU villain. I don't know. Would you guys agree with that?
Yeah.
He didn't play a bad role or anything. I feel like his character output was a bit.
I don't know. I like how much fun he's having with the, like, if you were to ask me, oh, would you be in a Star Wars movie? I'm not gonna take it serious. I'm gonna have fun, unless the character is a serious thing. But if you got the character description for Paul Bettany, I'm having fun with it. Same thing with Woody Harrelson. Woody Harrelson is just a dick in the movie. I would have fun with it. And he does. So then, let's talk about Donald Glover as Lando. This is probably the greatest casting I think I've ever seen in my life. I love Donald Glover as Lando. He is perfect as Lando. Perfect. He has the attitude. First of all, Donald Glover is great in general. He's a great actor. But my God, he is so freaking good in this movie as Lando. I absolutely love it. He nails the, you know, the swagger and the charm that Lando always has. He nails, like, you know, the dickheadish, you know, and he nails the fashion style too. But that's, you know, costumes, you know. But it's great. You know, he's so good. That was perfect casting. Great job on Donald Glover and Ron Howard. Great job. Let's talk about L3. I hate L3 with a passion. L3 is probably one of the most annoying Star Wars characters in history.
Yes.
I don't know what her character is supposed to be. I seriously don't.
Yeah, annoying feminine. She's the droid version of annoying feminist.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, are they going for like is she supposed to be a feminist, but instead of females, it's droids? Like, I didn't get it. And on top of that, she's just annoying. Like, her voice is irritating. The scene where her and Kira talk about Han, I was like, oh my, stop it. So stereotypical women dialogue. I was like, oh my God.
I think he likes
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know why Kira would say, oh yeah, Han doesn't like me. What?
Which is why they were just kissing.
Like, I think Kira was following Padme, you know, if you ask me. So then we get to the scene on Kessel, which is a fun action sequence. I really like the fact that the Wookiees came back. They threw in a line about Kashyyyk. I forgot what they said. I think they said that Kashyyyk got like destroyed or something, if I'm not correct.
I think they said she got overtaken by the...
Overtaken, yeah. So I like... This goes back to what I said a couple days ago on Revenge of the Sith, when I said, oh, I wish we would have saw Kashyyyk or something. Now I know why. Or it's either that, or Lucas is just lazy and wanted Endors to sell toys. Excuse me. So... Then we get to... one more thing. The scene where Han frees all of his family is probably one of the most... I mean, not Han. Chewie is probably one of the most emotional things I've ever seen. I absolutely love that scene. That was a really great scene. This brings us to L3 getting shot, and I laughed my ass off when I saw her get shot.
The way she died was so new.
Yeah. And then what was even funnier was Lando ripping her head off. I thought that was hilarious. So then this brings us to Han flying the Millennium Falcon, which for the first time, which, guys, oh my God, it gave me chills. When Han sat in that seat, it gave me chills. I was like, oh boy. Speaking of Han flying, this brings us to the best scene in the movie, the fucking Kessel Run. The scene that we've heard about in Star Wars for God knows how long. It's finally arrived, and it is just as epic as they hyped it up to be. The Kessel Run is amazing. What, do you guys feel the same way about the Kessel Run?
Yeah, that shit got me hyped the whole time.
See, Kevin, and you didn't want to see this movie in IMAX. Now imagine the Kessel Run in IMAX. It was epic, but yeah, the guys.
I was just as disinterested from the trailers.
Nope, I don't want to hear it. We will not take mediocrity on this podcast. I will not have it.
Then where were you on IMAX?
I saw it in IMAX, moron.
You did.
And I have the IMAX ticket to prove it.
What did you talk?
moving on. The Kessel Run is amazing. It's you know, heart pounding, nail biting. I love it. I mean, not really nail biting because you know that all four of these characters are gonna live, but it's great. I like to see where they bust through they drop the liquid from whatever they stole into the ship, and the ship just boom, and it goes flying. I love it.
For a quick second, I was like, it's not gonna. Oh.
I love it. Let's talk about Infant's Nest again. She shows up. They reveal that she's female, which, I'm not gonna lie, I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay.
Not as bad as 03.
I mean, again, I don't hate her character. It's just they don't develop her character. And they attempt to develop her character in the third act, but it's like, well, where were you this whole time? You showed up for 5 minutes and then left.
Showed up for 5 minutes, made a woman blow herself up, and then you just left.
But, you know, I like the story that they give Infant's Nest. It's not a bad story, but it's just like, again, it's like, why were you not involved in this story before? If she would have showed up before the train heist, or maybe after the train heist when everything went to shit, and told them, listen, Crimson Dawn is a bad person, you know, like, you gotta help us. But if it happened in the second act, don't you think it would have been better if she was in on everything before it? That, to me, like, it would have been cool if she was on Kessel doing the Kessel Run with them. Like, I would have liked that.
She would have been big.
I don't know. I think it would have been better if she had warned them before, like you said, but it would be like them disagreeing, saying like, Crimson Dawn's good, something like that.
Oh, we're not gonna help you on the Kessel Run, but then after that, we're gonna steal your shit. We're gonna realize that we're actually good.
I don't know. That's my big issue with Infant's Nest in this movie. Like, I wanted to like her, but I don't know. Maybe in the unused script she's used more. I don't know. So then the ending happens. Han and Kira kill Crimson Dawn. Woody Harrelson's character betrays them. Then they kill Woody Harrelson's character and the movie ends, right? Actually no. So they reveal that Kira is actually not, you know, innocent Emilia Clarke as we thought. She is working for Darth Maul. Yeah, please give us your thoughts, because I know you probably flipped your shit when you saw that Darth Maul was alive.
Yes, I very did flip my shit. I knew that he was alive, but it kind of freaked me out. I did not expect him to actually show up. Okay. I never even knew that he was.
I mean, nobody kind of expected him to show up.
Now, Kevin, I know you knew about it watching it today because you've seen it already, but if you can recall, what was your first reaction to seeing him alive?
I was mad confused because I was like, what? Wasn't this guy dead?
And yeah, that's what Kevin gets for not watching the Clone Wars.
Shut up.
So, I have mixed feelings about this. First of all, I love that Darth Maul's back. You know, fan favorite. Has probably the best lightsaber fight in the series. But my issue with this is, it's a little unbelievable that Darth Maul, of all people, would be involved in the crime world. Like, realistically, does that make any sense to you guys? A Sith Lord, you know, being involved in a criminal underworld? I don't think that makes sense at all.
No, it doesn't.
I put in my notes, I was like, wouldn't it have been cooler if she was working for, like, Jabba the Hutt or something, or another bounty hunter from the Clone Wars that we've never seen because they refuse to acknowledge the Clone Wars in these movies? That would have made more sense. I would have been perfectly fine with Jabba the Hutt. I would have been like, oh, that makes sense. Because for some bizarre reason, Jabba the Hutt is everywhere in these movies. Except, you know...
I think even in the end of the movie, Han said that he knows a job from...
No, it wasn't Han. It was Woody Harrelson character.
No. When they won the ship from Lando at the end of the movie, I think he said like, oh, there's this cool job that we can get. Chewie didn't like it, and he was like, when have I ever flown you the wrong way before? And I was
And he's looking at me like a bitch would.
I don't know, maybe I missed that. So then we get to the final scene of the movie. Han and Lando played the same game that they played before in the beginning of the movie. This scene is hilarious. I absolutely love this scene. It totally, you know, justifies why Lando doesn't really trust Han and Empire, but it's hilarious. I love this scene, how when he wins, Lando just loses his shit. It's so funny. And I love when Han shows Chewie the cards and Chewie just looks away. I loved it. It's so fucking funny. So then Han wins the Falcon back, and the movie ends, and that was our Han Solo adventure. Again, we all like this movie a lot. Me and Ye love this movie. Kevin just likes it, which, you know, with him, it's either you like it or not, unless it's Endgame or any Marvel movie that's not Thor: The Dark World. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Those are our thoughts on Solo. Next we're gonna be talking about Rogue One, which should be interesting. But yeah, we'll see you there. See ya.